Hey guys, how you doing? Shenry here for another video. Today's video will be a little bit different than the other videos I've done. I've done something like this in the past in my Blackbeard theory video, Blackbeard is Cerberus. Check it out. Trust me, I think that theory is going to be true for the end of One Piece. We are in the final saga. This isn't a One Piece video, though One Piece will be mentioned. This is about Dragon Ball Z's power scaling and how I think it makes no sense. Now, obviously, I'm not the first person to talk about Dragon Ball Z's power scaling, and I will not be the last person to talk about Dragon Ball Z power scaling, but I have, my own opinions on it. Later in this video, you'll hear me and my friend Justin discussing it. We kind of just went on a tangent. None of my videos are scripted. We just kind of talk off the rip. And the whole reason the subject even came up wasn't just because Dragon Ball Z's power scaling makes absolutely no sense. It actually happened. I was watching a Broly video about Broly, something related to Broly. But anyways, in the video, the guy says Broly is multi-solar system. And I was like, what does that mean? And he's like, multi-solar system means Broly can destroy multiple solar systems at once at max power. Now, listen to me. Listen, I write stories for a living. I've been doing it for 15 plus years. And I'm not going to tell any writer, especially no Japanese writer, that this is their hard work. They spend years on this, on their hands, knees, making their stories, the stories they love, their characters. I'm not going to make any author story seem like it's not good or great because... First of all, let me say, we love Dragon Ball Z. We grew up with it from our childhood. I personally remember when I was a kid, I would race home from school to either watch Pokemon or Dragon Ball Z. And my sister would want to watch the VH1 Awards. Do you remember that? Yeah, we used to fight over the TV to try to watch first. So there were some episodes of Dragon Ball Z I totally missed. Like, I know I missed the fight between 17 and Piccolo, and I missed... some various other fights throughout the series, but I know basically what happens because I played all the Budokai Tenkaichis, and so has Justin. So when you hear his part in the video later, just know that we are fans. We've played these games our entire lives and watched the show. So let's just get into it. Let's just hop into this video, this topic. Now, Dragon Ball Z's power scaling was not always bad. It wasn't. When Dragon Ball Z started, you introduced Raditz. Raditz is this new character, Goku and Piccolo. They're not friends yet, but they're fighting. The whole new thing about Goku being a Saiyan was totally new. They struggle against Raditz, but they do take him down. Piccolo uses his apparently, I don't know. I have to go back and rewatch Dragon Ball Z episode 1. Special being canon, apparently not something Piccolo said, and we know that because Dragon Ball Superhero, when Gohan says special being canon, Piccolo says, that's a weird name. I never thought about calling it that. So I don't know if Piccolo said special being canon, but we know it was special being canon that took down Raditz. And they struggled against him at first, Raditz. And that's fine. You have a new enemy, new series. The villain does need to be stronger than our heroes, and our heroes have to find a way to overcome him. The way Goku did that was, holding Raditz's tail and then grabbing him from behind so he couldn't move, and then Piccolo one-shot him so he couldn't dodge it. Perfect. That is what I would call opponent tier. Opponent tier is when your opponent is the same level as you or just a little bit higher. So they are challenged, but they're not completely above you. They're not at home tier yet. Home is when you can destroy a building at max power. I have my own power scaling system for my series. It's called opponent tier. It starts with opponent tier. I know, so your opponent's at the same level, but you. Home tier is when your opponent can destroy a building at max power. Now, normal people, opponent tiers can't do that. So it takes 2 or 3 opponent tiers to take down one home tier. And then above home tier is city tier. And city tier is, max power, they destroy cities. So you need, the way I wrote it is you either need 1 home tier with 2 additional opponent tiers or 2 home tiers to take down a city tier. And then above city tier is multi-city tier. And then, continent tier, and then planetary, and then multi-planetary. Now, the reason why I made it that way is because once you get to planetary, you have to end your series. The reason why is anything above planetary is God tier. It doesn't matter if it's multi-planet. It doesn't matter if it's dimension breakers. Anything above planet tier is God tier. Because at that point, your story is a joke, or your characters are too powerful, or they might as well be fighting God. That is the truth. So let me continue to explain. So again, it was fine with Raditz. And then we get to the, what was it? Let's call it the Saiyan Saga. Vegeta, Nappa, and the Cybermen. Now, one good thing is Goku was still at base level. He died, and he had to go to King Kai, and King Kai trained him with the Kaioken, the Spirit Ball, and I think that was it. Kaioken and Spirit Ball. I think that's all he learned. But the attacks don't matter. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about forms. We're talking about power scaling. But the first thing that happened, this is the first time the Z Fighters became irrelevant. I mean, all of them. Now, I'm going to hype up Krillin later in the Frieza saga, but just know right now, all the Z Fighters are shit, including Piccolo. They all lost to Nappa, or they lost to Cybermen. Do not shit on Yamcha anymore. Yes, we know Yamcha got killed by a Cyberman, but you got to remember, these are human beings fighting aliens with superpowers. So the max that a human being can be, and Krillin's the strongest human. Next to Master Roshi, Krillin's the strongest human. So Yamcha might not be Krillin's level, but Yamcha's still strong. So him losing to a Cyberman that explodes, it's like if you put a bomb on a human. They're going to die. And I know in Dragon Ball Super, in the Dragon Ball universe, you know, we're expected to fight aliens and superpowered beings. But I'm just saying, like, a human's not going to reach the level that Saiyans and aliens can reach. Our humans are always going to be max home tier. They're not going to be city tier. No human is going to be a city destroyer. They are always going to be at that city tier. You got to remember that. So then, you know, like I said, the Z Fighters all get shit on. Goku shows up. And no offense to Goku. I love Goku. Everything's going to be explained. Just know that we love Goku. We are team Dragon Ball Z in this house. Anyways, Goku shows up. He wipes forward Nappa. Excellent. But Vegeta's still stronger. Fight with Vegeta. We're not going to get into the fights. We're just going to explain power scaling. It took him to use Kaioken to even be on par with Vegeta. That's fine because that's a new power. That's been trained. That's been teased. And you put him on the same level as the stronger villain. And yeah, technically the villain did win in the end. Because, you know, all our heroes were incapacitated, but Krillin, who was going to stab Vegeta in the back. But, you know, it was fine. Frieza Saga, we're still power scaling, still fine. Because we get the Frieza Saga when Goku shows up. And even though we know about the Zenkai boost, it still took Kaioken it didn't take Kaioken to defeat the Ginyu Force, because the Ginyu Force were jokes. Like, everybody under Frieza was just hyped up for no reason. I mean, not hyped up for no reason, but they were more powerful because of the name Frieza than they were actually powerful. Because Ginyu is supposed to be the strongest of the Ginyu Force. He's not strong at all. He just steals people's body, and then you can't even unlock their power. Because his whole thing is like, oh, you're stronger than me? Okay, I'm going to stab myself, and now I'm going to take your body, and now you have my weak body, so, you know, I'm stronger than you now. But one thing I had noticed, once we got to Frieza, in all the forms he goes through, Frieza first form, was shitting on all the Z Fighters. And then Frieza second form, Piccolo shows up, fused with Nail, which is fine. You know, we know, like, you know, Piccolo gets stronger. He was able to take on second form Frieza for a little bit. And then, and I'm not going to even mention what Frieza kept saying every time he transformed. Like, this is only 1% of my power. This is only half my power. We're not going to talk about that. We're going to get to something in a second. Frieza's third form was briefly shown, and he whooped all their asses anyway. Like, they weren't even doing anything to him at that point. But for some reason, he went final form Frieza. For some reason. Goku shows up, and they're fighting. And this is the part where I'm going to first mention something. At one point, Goku, Kaioken, not Kaioken times 20, but Kaioken something, probably times 10. Frieza says to him, this is only 1% of my power. I'm not talking where he said 50% yet. He said in the beginning of their fight, final form Frieza, fighting Goku, Kaioken something, he said this is only 1% of my power. Goku said you're joking. He thought Frieza was joking. And then later Frieza said something about he's at 50% power, and then Goku does Kaioken times 20. And Piccolo comments on this, like, no, Goku's been using, or King Kai comments on this, Goku's been using Kaioken times 20 the entire time. And Frieza's just toying with him. Frieza's not even max power. Now, when Frieza did reach max power, it was, you know, when he kills, whenever the Spirit Bomb's used against him, and Frieza's like, oh, I'm done fucking around. I'm gonna go full power, and then Goku, turns into Super Saiyan because Krillin died. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Because about 100 episodes in, we only had Kaioken since the Saiyan saga. So when you introduce Super Saiyan, which has been hyped up this whole time, we are ready for it. We love it. It's amazing. Super Saiyan Goku is tanking all of Frieza's attacks. Super Saiyan Goku is not phased. It's fucking incredible. It's fucking great. It's exactly what Super Saiyan's been hyped up to be. Now, let's get to the Android saga. Akira Toriyama, here is the first time you messed up your power scaling. Super Saiyan just got introduced. And not only did it just get introduced, Goku, I think in the beginning of the Android saga, had already mastered Super Saiyan. Like, he was just casually in Super Saiyan all the time. I wouldn't have done that. I would have still made Super Saiyan something that you have to unlock with rage. I'm going to get to why. Because even though Android 19 and 20 were technically super weak to Super Saiyan because Super Saiyan Vegeta took them out, and so did Super Saiyan Trunks. Even though that happened, when 16, 17, 18 show up, they immediately shit on Super Saiyan. Immediately. And I get it. You have new villains. You want to make them more powerful than the last villains. But you have to understand, Super Saiyan has not been around that long. Super Saiyan just got introduced. Don't shit on Super Saiyan just yet. Make it where, like I would say, what I would change is Dr. Giro's 19 and 20 can't handle them in their current form because he only has up to Kaioken. He doesn't know about like the Zenkai boost that they got on Namek and stuff like that. He only has the data from Earth when they went Kaioken against Vegeta. So now Zenkai boost, Namek, and all that, they're above Kaioken times 20 or whatever. Just base form. So they can shit on them. But then, have them struggle against 16, 17, 18, or be on par, be on the same level as them. But they still can't use Super Saiyan yet. Only when Cell shows up do they unleash that rage and go Super Saiyan. But then Cell shits on Super Saiyan. And then you can continue what you already had going. You can continue having Cell reach this new level. And then by the time he's perfect Cell, none of the Super Saiyan moves work on him. Super Saiyan's weak. And then we're like, oh, shit. That would be about 150 episodes or so in. And that would be like, oh, shit, we need new power. We need new form. We need a new way to take him down. Then you can continue having it as you did with Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. And the ending would still be fine, still be perfect. It'd still be exactly hype. Super Saiyan 2, amazing, amazing. Because here's the problem. Super Saiyan 2, going into the Buu Saga. I can't say Super Saiyan 3. I can't gauge it. Like, I know people have gauged it. But really, we only saw it on screen for 5 minutes. He went Super Saiyan 3 against Fat Buu for like maybe 5 minutes tops. And it didn't kill Super Buu. It didn't kill Fat Buu. So I can't really say much about Super Saiyan 3. And then, I don't know about anything about GT. I'm not even going to go there. But I'm just going to say that, Super Saiyan 3, we knew Goku had it, but that's not how the series ended. And again, this is still just sticking to forms and power scaling. I'm going to skip everything and go right into Battle of the Gods. I know that there's Gogeta. I know that there's a Vegito thing. But again, those are fine. Again, everything is still fine. I'm still fine with everything Dragon Ball Z. It is Dragon Ball Super that fucked up power scaling the most. So now let's get into Battle of the Gods. Battle of the Gods is a perfect movie. Perfect. If you just do my little changes in the Cell Saga and then, continue as normal, I'm telling you, Battle of the Gods is perfect. Because, once again, Goku went to Super Saiyan 1, Super Saiyan 2, Super Saiyan 3 for 3 seconds to only get knocked back by Wiz with Tsunade's finger flick. And we were like, oh, shit. This guy, a God of Destruction, is on a crazy, insane level. Goku needs a new power. Goku needs a new form. Goku needs something to take him down. Super Saiyan God was introduced. Super Saiyan God Red. I have to be specific. Super Saiyan God Red, the whole theater went insane. Again, perfect movie. Wouldn't change nothing. Power scaling is still fine. Resurrection F. It's not Golden Frieza that fucked up the power scaling. Golden Frieza is fine. Because if Frieza never changed a day in his life, which we can believe because he was a tyrant who was the most powerful in that universe, in our universe at the time, before we knew about Gods of Destructions, Frieza was that bitch because Super Saiyans didn't exist. So Golden Frieza, after him training, is fine because that's how Goku got new forms, Vegeta gets new forms, all our characters get new forms. It's fine. However, you should not have introduced Blue. The reason why, and I know Blue is a mastered form of Red, but you gotta remember, Goku Red, in Battle of the Gods, Beerus said he had to go 70% of his power. 70%. If Blue is a mastered form of Red, I would give it like a 10% boost. Just to create a gap. That would mean he's now at 80% of Beerus' power. And if Frieza is shitting on Blue, I mean, the only reason Gold lost to Blue is because, he was running out of power. He was running out of steam. Whereas, like, they had been in that form for a while, training in that form for a while, where Frieza, after he got that form, he immediately came to Earth. He didn't have time to train that form and master that form. So, we know that Golden Frieza was a little bit above Super Saiyan Blue at the time. So, let's say if Super Saiyan Blue was 80% of a God of Destruction's power, we'll say Golden Frieza was 85% of Beerus' power. So that's very high to a God of Destruction. That's very close to a God of Destruction. But the problem is, you should have kept it red. You should have kept their hair red. And we knew that Goku needed that power. Goku needed the other Saiyans to get that power to turn Super Saiyan God red. And yes, I know, like, he kept residual of that power at the end of Battle of the Gods because when he was trying to block Beerus' destruction of Earth, Goku went red for like 2 seconds. And we all loved it. We all went crazy. But you should have kept it red. You should have let him casually turn red and let Vegeta turn casually red. And I'm going to get to why in a second. Because it would have made more sense. We need these forms to last longer than they do. Because once we get into Super, you're going to understand what I mean about flying through these forms. So I would have kept it red. And then also, that bullshit about Wiz being able to reverse time only one time is stupid. The ending of Resurrection F is trash. You should have let the alternate ending where Vegeta kills Frieza stay as it was. If you watch Resurrection F, you bought the DVD, watch the alternate ending. Vegeta killing Frieza is more satisfying than reversing time and killing him with the Kamehameha. It's dumb, especially because Whis can never do it again. He's never done it again. He never will do it again. It'll never be brought up again. It was stupid. Do not ever do that reverse time shit. Just have Vegeta get his moment. That's Vegeta's moment anyway, because Vegeta was killed by Frieza on Namek. This was Vegeta's W. This was Vegeta's time. This was Vegeta's revenge for his father. Why did they fuck that up? Anyways, now we can get to Super, where the power scaling really messed up. So, he has God mode mastered. He has Super Saiyan 1, 2, and 3 mastered. We know that. And even Red mastered. But why does he go blue against everybody in Super? Only until the Tournament of Power does he go back to Super Saiyan base. Super Saiyan 1, 2, 3. He should have never gone blue against everybody. Not against Krillin. No offense to Krillin, because Krillin is the strongest human on Earth. He was the strongest human. He will never be above City Tier, but he's the strongest human. He should never went blue against the Android 817, who's never trained after so long. He should have went like Super Saiyan 2 max. Because androids have unlimited power anyway. They have unlimited stamina or whatever. It would have still been fine to get Android 17 back to fighting form and just Super Saiyan 2. But instead, all throughout Super, he goes blue against everybody. Blue against Zamatsu, fine. Blue against Jiren, fine. But blue against like every person he fights in Super is stupid, bro. You should have just kept him and Super Saiyan 2 at max, because we know 3 uses too much power. I would have kept them at Super Saiyan 1 or 2 at max throughout the series. Then when it has to do with series fights, reintroduce that blue form. Or introduce blue in Super Saiyan, Saiyan Black, in the Goku Black arc. You know? Build up that form, because we could have had red as the max form and then blue through training. Just like you did with Kaioken, just like you did with Super Saiyan. Letting them flesh out for a while. Because in the Tournament of Power, you get... Now, one thing he did also do right was a Tournament of Power. Bringing in Ultra Instinct at the very end of the series when he has to fight Jiren, about 129 episodes in or so, that's perfect because we had plenty of time with Blue. But I would have rather had some time with Red and then time with Blue and then time with Ultra Instinct because you have to introduce a form over time. You can't introduce a form over and over again. If you introduce a form every time a new villain shows up, you have the Tower of God effect. Now, if you don't know what Tower of God is a webtoon, and it's really good, but it's about climbing this tower. And this kid named Bam, who's supposed to be like a nobody, and who shouldn't be able to climb this tower, and he makes friends. But the thing is about Bam, every time he climbs this tower, he gets a new power. But here's the thing, and this is why I stopped reading Tower of God. At one point, Bam gets this giant Leviathan, and this Leviathan, if you read Tower of God, you know what I'm talking about, but because there's so much in Tower of God going on. But basically, every time someone shows up in Tower of God, they are a mountain stronger than the last guy. And every guy that shows up, every time we meet a new person, they're like, "Oh, this guy's momentumly stronger than the last one." And it's like, "Oh shit, this is crazy. How's Bam gonna handle this?" So, whatever this chapter is where the Leviathan came in, we're like, oh shit, this is going to be Bam's max power. Because Bam's been climbing the tower for a while at this point. So I was thinking like, Bam, this is how you're going to take on Jagan or whatever his name is. This is how or Jiren, whatever the dude's name is, it starts with a J. This is how you're going to take him on. When Bam absorbs that fucking Leviathan, which is huge, by the way, it's fucking huge. It goes in Bam's body. He's like, wow, there's so much space in here. I can't even see the bottom. I said, oh my God. Tower of God. Tower of God's power scaling is worse than Dragon Ball Z. But it's the Tower of God effect for Dragon Ball Z. Because Ultra Instinct was just got introduced, just beat Jiren. And then, you have Vegeta Royal Blue, which I fucking hate. That shit was dumb. Now, I don't read the Dragon Ball Z manga, but I know about it. You introduce Frieza Black, which shit on immediately. Ultra Instinct Goku, mastered apparently, and Ultra Ego Vegeta. I was like, bro, how can you shit on this? They just got these forms. And now you got Frieza Black, who's supposedly stronger than both of those, so now we're gonna have to have another form. And then that brings me to Dragon Ball Superhero, which I love that movie. That movie is so fun. I love that Android 18. When she saw Cell Max, she was afraid for 1 second. She had that PTSD, but then she said, fuck it, let's go. I'm a fight. I loved Beast Gohan. I'm fine with that. Orange Piccolo, fine with that. It made Gohan and Piccolo relevant. Anybody that hates Beast Gohan, if you don't remember, the Dragon Ball Z story was supposed to end with Gohan being the hero, but he got hate mail. Akira Toriyama got hate mail from fans. If you are a fan of Dragon Ball Z or any anime, I don't care if you love or hate the characters. If the writer decides that a new character is going to take the place, you should not send them hate mail. That's disgusting. You're not a true fan if you do stuff like that. I'm a writer myself. If anybody ever sends me hate mail about me killing a character or me making a character weaker or not as strong, I'm going to be like, I ain't changing nothing. This is my story. This is my characters. You can write your own story, but you should not impact the way a writer writes his story. That's just disrespectful to the writer, in my opinion. But again, I'm fine with it because I love Dragon Ball Z and he made it work. Beast Gohan is fine, but if you shit on Beast Gohan and Orange Piccolo already, now I know Orange Piccolo struggled against Cell Max. He was doing damage, but he wasn't winning completely. And I was fine with that because I'm like, okay, new form. We're like a new form doesn't automatically win. Beast Gohan did auto win, but that's fine because he originally beat Cell anyway. And this is like, unlocked Gohan, Beast Gohan. But I just have a feeling in the next movie, Beast Gohan, Orange Piccolo, Mastered Ultra Instinct Goku, and Ultra Ego Vegeta are going to get shit on again. I just have a feeling that's going to happen because we need the stakes to keep going higher. But he's doing it the wrong way. The right way to do it is what we're about to talk about. So this is part 2. That was part 1 about Dragon Ball Z's power scaling and the Tower of God effect. Part 2 of the video. The way to fix this is the Pokemon model. Now, everybody knows Pokemon. You all know, and I'm going with the basic one. The rock, paper, scissors effect. Fire, water, grass. Fire beats grass, is weak to water. Water beats grass. Water beats fire, weak to grass. Grass beats water, weak to fire. Now, think about this. If you have a level 5 Charmander, Squirtle, or Bulbasaur, they all technically can beat each other. But one is stronger and one is weaker. One can win easier. One can also win, but it's going to struggle. If you start out with Squirtle like I did, you automatically beat Charmander easily. Easily. But if you fight Bulbasaur, your opponent chooses Bulbasaur, you're going to struggle. You can still win with that level 5 Squirtle, but it's going to struggle against that Bulbasaur. But it can win. You're going to have to, defense curl up, tail whip that bitch, shake your little booty in front of its face to, make it kind of blush and be like, what the fuck? And make its attack weaker. But that Squirtle can win. That's what you do in an anime when you want to keep your characters relevant but struggle. You don't introduce a new form. You don't have to do the Tower of God effect where this guy is way stronger than the last guy you just beat last arc. You make them relevant, but you make it a different way to take them down. Let's talk about forms in the big three. Naruto. Do you guys remember Naruto? The first time Naruto had a new form was about 18, 20 episodes in the Zabuza arc. This is all, like I said, a tangent. This is not scripted. This is all me talking. So I might be wrong to some degree, but we know what I'm talking about. Naruto went Kyuubi mode Naruto against Haku and defeated Haku, which was stronger than Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura, because they were Genin and Haku was basically Jonin level. Naruto did not get a new form. I'm not talking about powers. Naruto did not get a new form until the fight with Sasuke about 100 episodes in. One-tail Naruto versus second form Sasuke, or curse mark Sasuke. The reason why I was hype, because there was a build-up. There was over 100 episodes of Naruto going Kyuubi mode, just Kyuubi mode, just Naruto, red eyes, fox pointed cheeks, whatever, claws, for the longest time. But every time Naruto went Kyuubi mode, we were hype. We were like, oh shit's about to get real now. Then, there's filler. We don't talk about the filler. We get to the time skip. The time skip, Naruto didn't really change new forms. He basically didn't change at all. But the next time Naruto got a new form was Sage mode. That was like the pain arc. That was like at least 200 episodes in or so. Either way, a long gap from Naruto getting another. Well, I mean, there was Four Tails Naruto, which we saw on the bridge with Orochimaru and Sakan. So let me not skip over that. Naruto did get a new form with the Four Tails. But Sage mode was his next form, which was also like a huge gap. And then towards the end of Naruto, he started getting multiple forms, back to back to back. The cloak, the Nine Tails, Six Path, all that. But like I said, there was gaps. There was build up to that. One Piece, Luffy stays normal until the Ines Lobby arc, where he unlocks Gear 2nd and Gear 3rd. But he keeps those forms for the longest time, because you remember Ines Lobby and come on. Gear 3rd stay that way until he gets to Dressrosa, which is in the time skip, well into Dressrosa, and then by then he gets Gear 4th, and then he keeps Gear 4th all the way to Wano, which is another huge gap, where he gets variation Snake Man on Whole Cake Island, which was the next arc, but it was still Gear 4th, and then but Gear 5th is Luffy's current form in Wano, and he keeps using Gear 5th. But do you see the progression? There's a long gap of letting us live with these forms, get adjusted to these forms for a long time. And then Bleach, Ichigo stays, his normal form until he fights Byakuya, where he gets the Hollow Mask. And then we have Hollow Mask Ichigo, and Ichigo uses that. Every time Ichigo pulls out that mask, it's hype. And then I think like 70 episodes later, he goes full Hollow mode. Okiryu, full Hollow mastered form, which is like another 100 or so episodes. These forms are, and then finally he gets the fusion of all of the Quincy, Hollow, and Vizard. Ichigo basically becomes the embodiment of everything towards the end of Bleach. But these forms are all gradually paced out. Unlike Dragon Ball Z and the Tower of God effect, where every time a new villain shows up, you have to have a new form. They got to be way stronger. They have to shit on the last form. And that's my problem with Dragon Ball Z. That's my problem with their effect. It has this Tower of God effect for Dragon Ball Z, and it's terrible. And, One Punch Man, which, is a comedy, but it does it better. One Punch Man, even though it's a joke anime, whenever do you remember in season 1 where he was doing like he had to use consecutive punches because one punch didn't work? That was funny, but it worked in that universe because, yeah, up to that point, he's always one punching people. He shows up at the last minute. He can't show up at the beginning of every fight because it would be over. But this is the first time he has to use more than one punch. And I've only seen up to season 2, so I haven't seen him do anything else crazy. But I love that. Like, I've heard that, like, later in the series, he has to use more than one punch because these villains start getting stronger. And that's good. It's progression. Like I said, like, even though it's a joke anime, it still handles power scaling better than Dragon Ball Z. And this is not to shit on Dragon Ball Z. Again, we love Dragon Ball Z. We are fans of Dragon Ball Z. But I just wanted to give my thoughts on its power scaling and, like, how he should just gradually make his villains, like, relevant to each other. Because we're already beyond, in Dragon Ball Z, we are beyond planetary. We are in multi-planetary. We are in unscalable territory. Multi-solar system makes no sense. Anything above this is God tier. Anything above planetary, anything that can destroy a planet and is above and destroying multiple planets cannot be measured. I don't care what kind of data books you're reading. I don't care what kind of what the author says or what feats you see. Nothing beyond planetary makes sense because it is God tier. And yeah, he could end the series, but we love it. We're going to keep watching Dragon Ball Z even though the power scaling makes no sense. We are fine with it. We're going to love it, but it's just my thoughts on it. Now, for part 3, me and my best friend are going to talk about it. We kind of go off on a tangent like I told you we're going to do. But I want to get my full thoughts so you guys understand. And then my buddy Mir, we're going to bounce back and forth and we're going to talk about it for you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video and enjoy the rest of this. This is something new we're trying. We're going to try to do a video like this every now and then where I hop on with Logi and we just talk about stuff that we love. But yes, hope you guys enjoy. Part 3 is coming right now. Hey guys, this is Shinry back with another video. Today I'm joined by my best friend Logi. You want to introduce yourself?
Hey, what's up, Terrence? This is Logi. How y'all guys doing today?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. Today's topic is about Dragon Ball Z's power scaling and how it makes no sense. Me and Logi are actually big fans of Dragon Ball Z. We both grew up with it in our childhoods. Me personally, I used to race home after school to like watch it and catch every episode. What about you, Justin? What's your history with Dragon Ball Z?
Oh man, I've watched Dragon Ball Z since the dawn of Dragon Ball Z. Just a great childhood. Great childhood with Dragon Ball Z.
Oh yeah, of course, and I think we all feel like that as well. But we have to admit, despite how great our love for Dragon Ball Z is, it does have one major problem: the power scaling. So the reason why I even talked about this video or wanted to bring this topic up is because I watched this video about Broly, and this guy had said that Broly is multi-solar system, and when he said that, I typed in the comments, that makes no sense. That's just ridiculous. But in Dragon Ball Z's universe, they would say that makes sense. I'm going to throw some examples at you guys. Justin, feel free to jump in at any moment. Starting with the Z Fighters. Let's just talk about how irrelevant the Z Fighters became the moment Dragon Ball Z started. Now, I know in Dragon Ball, Yamcha was relevant, Piccolo was relevant, Tien, they were all pretty relevant to Goku. Like, they could all fight with Goku and stuff like that. But the moment Dragon Ball Z started, once we got to the introduction of the Cybermen and the introduction of Nappa and Vegeta, the Z Fighters actually became irrelevant, like, because they all lost to Nappa, or the Cybermen if you were Yamcha. And you gotta remember, as bad as Yamcha lost to that Cyberman in one shot, they are still human. They only can get so strong in a world with aliens and superpowered beings. But basically, go ahead.
The main thing here is, as a child, the first time seeing Super Saiyan, right? One of the biggest things as a child that we've got to witness. And it was such an awesome moment at that point. Becoming a Super Saiyan is essentially the start of the power scaling, or you can say Kaioken.
Yeah, I mean, no, you can say Super
You
Saiyan
can say Kaioken.
because
So Super Saiyan, but seeing Super Saiyan as a child and watching that, and it was just such an awesome moment.
yeah, there was
the
hype
power
around it, like
scaling-
the sight of that scene and everything, and then there's that legendary video of that kid that went Super Saiyan on YouTube for the first time. Remember that?
Yeah, the one screaming the whole time. Yep.
I was jealous of him. But, actually, that might be a better starting point for this. The fact that Super Saiyan became irrelevant in the very next arc.
They did start at such a high bar with the Super Saiyan, right?
Yeah.
They set a standard with the Super Saiyan, and then, you had your Frieza come in, and which was a good villain to the Super Saiyan. Don't get me wrong. And he had to go Super Saiyan 2. So when Goku went Super Saiyan, right? As we all know, such a historical moment in the Dragon Ball Z universe. It was such a great moment when he went against Frieza. That set the standard of power scaling, right? Super Saiyan was, evolved Saiyan pretty much.
Yeah.
And then you had past evolved Super Saiyan 2. Then you had Super Saiyan 3, so on and so forth. But I feel like they kind of, this whole video, what we're talking about is how they just diminish.
It diminished the relevance of Super Saiyan each time.
Yeah.
Like you introduced Super Saiyan and it was cool and it showed us how powerful Goku could be. And then the next arc, when you introduced like the androids, they were already shitting on Super Saiyan Trunks, Super Saiyan Vegeta, and it's like, and Vegeta and Trunks we had just seen 2 more Super Saiyans, so it's like for that form to automatically be reduced to nothing in the next arc, it was like I would have.
Well, I would say not in the next arc because Super Saiyan 1, right? Super Saiyan was the Frieza saga, correct?
Yeah.
So they had the Super Saiyan, which was a staple, and then we got another awesome form, Super Saiyan 2, which was in the Boo saga, if I do believe.
Saga.
No, I believe it was in the Boo saga when he went Super Saiyan 2. And then...
Oh, you mean Goku. Because Gohan...
Yep.
Gohan went Super Saiyan 2 against Cell first.
Yep. And then he went Super Saiyan 2 in the Boo saga. Now... Super Saiyan 2, when that came out, that set another standard. It didn't really diminish Super Saiyan 1. It just amplified Super Saiyan in a sense. And then we get introduced in the Boo saga as well to Super Saiyan 3.
And that lost relevancy really fast. Like he went Super Saiyan 3 for like quick. Maybe like 5 minutes tops.
We saw Super Saiyan 3, which was, as a kid, as I remember this, I'm trying to think back as a kid, not as an adult right now. But when I first saw Super Saiyan 3 as a kid, my perspective was that was one of the most coolest, awesomest, greatest form I've seen in Dragon Ball Z was Super Saiyan 3, even though we know now it's not that good of a form. It's not that great.
Irrelevant, bro.
It's a terrible form actually to be in if you want to talk about like the types of forms. But back then as a kid, that was really cool to see was Super Saiyan 3. And after that, we don't see Super Saiyan 3 for a while. So I feel like the power scaling at that point is like, what was the purpose of going Super Saiyan 3 if you were just gonna
it could have come back against Kid Buu to an extent, like just because, like, you introduced it in the Buu saga, and then it doesn't go anywhere. And the other thing is, like, all these forms, you keep introducing a new form every arc. Vegeta saga, we had Kaioken, which was dope. It amplifies your power, and then Kaioken. Oh, here's a good example. The power scaling was fine up till Frieza because Kaioken was relevant to taking down the Ginyu Force and all of that. But once you got to Frieza, Kaioken wasn't enough. So having him go Super Saiyan made sense. And then you get to, as you said, the Cell Saga when he goes Super Saiyan 2. the androids just shit on Super Saiyan. Like they were whooping all the Super Saiyan's butts without any problem. Like they took out Android 19 and 20, I think, pretty easily. But once Android 16, 17, and 18 came out, they were shit on. If I was the writer Akira Toriyama, I would have waited till he got the cell, like perfect cell, to shit on Super Saiyan. Because then it shows like, hey, these androids might be tough, but we can whoop their ass because we have Super Saiyan. Maybe Dr. Gero only knew up to Kaioken. And so, you know, you make Super Saiyan like a thing that they have to like really try to, I don't know, make it like where they had to like, I'm trying to.
Well, I feel like Super Saiyan is the pinnacle of Dragon Ball Z, right? Super Saiyan is fine. Super Saiyan 1, 2, and well, you can't really say 3 because they didn't use 3, but Super Saiyan 1 and 2 are the pinnacle of the power scaling. Right. And then you get to Frieza, and you fight Frieza, you defeat Frieza, and then you get to Majin Buu, you fight Majin Buu, and you're pretty much in your Super Saiyan forms, right? Or Goku. Right. And then after that, you know, it was fine with the Super Saiyans. That was the pinnacle. They just got stronger with, you know, and you can talk about Vegeta or Gogeta or whatever, but I'm talking about individual power scaling, not fused power scaling.
Right, right.
So we get to all that, and now we get to, if you want to talk about Super Saiyan 4, we don't really have to talk about.
Well, since it's not canon yet in the current Dragon Ball Z or the Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super, I'll just stick with the Super Saiyan 1, 2, 3, then Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Blue, which is really the main topic, and then Ultra Instinct, and then...
Yeah, so I don't have a problem with any of the Super Saiyans, right? Super Saiyan carried Dragon Ball Z for a long time.
Yeah, and it's memorable. It's memorable to this day.
It's one of the greatest moments. Now, where I feel like they started going wrong, in my opinion, is probably during the Dragon Ball Z Super.
Oh, for sure. Because before we had Dragon Ball Super, we had Battle of the Gods. Battle of the Gods was perfect. Goku went Super Saiyan 1, he went Super Saiyan 2, he tried to go Super Saiyan 3 against Beerus, he got shit on. So we were like, oh shit, Beerus is on a whole nother level. Mind you, like again, we don't know, let's just pretend we don't know about Super Saiyan 4. We saw Goku struggle in Super Saiyan 3 against Beerus, which is supposed to be his strongest form, right? And then he has to, gather the energy of 5 other Saiyans to become a Super Saiyan God. Great form, great movie, fantastic, wouldn't change anything. Here's the problem. Resurrection F started this problem. Resurrection F, leading into Super, started this problem. Super Saiyan Blue should not have been introduced in that next movie. He should have still been Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Red. The reason why I think that is because I know that Blue is a mastered form of Red, but you didn't give us more time with Red. Like, we had plenty of time with Super Saiyan, we had plenty of time with Super Saiyan 2, didn't have really any time with Super Saiyan 3, as you said, and because we all know, like, he went Super Saiyan 3 for 5 minutes against Boo, and then he went Super Saiyan 3 against Beerus for like 2 seconds and got his butt whooped. But so Super Saiyan Blue was kind of the start to where this like power scaling gets so bad. And Golden Frieza's fine. I'm okay with that because Frieza coming up back with a new form, it
adds to the power scaling, which is fine. You want to match your protagonist with a villain.
Right.
But in the way Dragon Ball Z does it is, as soon as Frieza gets his awesome, great form,
Golden Frieza.
Next comes, you got to beat the villain, of course. So you power up, and when you power up, you just take a dump right on the previous forms.
Yeah, like every time
with Goku and Vegeta really needs a moment too. I feel like Vegeta is really one of the staples of Dragon Ball Z.
The alternate ending of Resurrection F is better than the ending with Goku having a fucking or Wiz having a
Vegeta is like, he works hard now to really power up, and he fights like he's really trying. Goku is like, we know the story. We know Goku always saves the day, and we kind of want that to be reversed. But we're not talking about that today. We're talking more of power scaling. And for Frieza to go golden Frieza, that's fine, but you can't just immediately power up, defeat Frieza, and then have a new form, and then get that form basically shit on again by Jiren, and then power up again, and then give us time to digest what we're seeing and what we're feeling. Give us time to experience what we've experienced as kids. Like, Ultra Instinct is a nice form.
Okay, so you're going where I want you to go, but you skipped some points I wanted to bring up really fast. So before we get to Ultra Instinct, another problem I have is Super Saiyan Blue was also used too much on Super. He went Super Saiyan Blue against everybody every time. Almost every episode of Super Saiyan, almost every episode of Dragon Ball Z Super, he goes Super Saiyan Blue, and I'm like, Super Saiyan Blue is supposed to be God Key. It's supposed to be your mastered form of Red, and we know that Super Saiyan God, according to the Battle of the Gods, Beerus had to go 70% of his power to fight to take on Goku in that form. So if Blue is the master form of Red, I would imagine Blue's maybe 10% more, we could say. So maybe 80% of Beerus' power. That would mean everybody Goku fights in Dragon Ball Super is fucking God level. And the Tournament of Power kind of did it better because it brought back Super Saiyan, and it brought back Super Saiyan 2 and 3, and then he did go Red a couple times. But it didn't matter because before that, he was going Blue against everybody before the Tournament of Power. And then you're right, getting the Ultra Instinct, Jiren shit on Super Saiyan Blue, which was fine because at that point, we had, if he didn't overuse Blue, at that point, Blue would have had 129 episodes or so before Ultra Instinct got introduced. And, which is another reason this video is brought up. Ultra Instinct Goku was an amazing form. He got hit by the Spirit Bomb, he transformed into Ultra Instinct Goku. And this is just from the Dragon Ball Z manga. Apparently, Frieza came out of nowhere, Frieza Black, and shit on Ultra Instinct and Ultra Ego Vegito. We just got these forms. And that's my problem. You can't keep making a new villain every time be way stronger than the last guy. Because then your power scaling's all over the place. Because we think Broly should be stronger than Jiren, according to the latest movie. Because when Goku and Vegeta fought him, they had to break a dimension. Gogeta broke a dimension. So we know Jiren ain't breaking no dimensions. At least he didn't in the fight. So now we're at unscalable power scaling. Now we're at like they said, multi-solar system, which makes no sense.
If they already said that Goku was pretty much, when he was fighting Jiren, he was pretty much as strong as a. Well, they didn't say that. They said him doing an Ultra Instinct is hard for even God of Destructions to even learn that.
Right, so that would mean he's stronger than a God of Destruction.
He's at the point to where he's perfecting Ultra Instinct, and then out of nowhere, Black Frieza comes and just in the Granola arc and just shits on that form, and on the Ultra Ego form, which we haven't seen yet in the anime, but. Right. Still, the shit on both those forms where Vegeta just got a huge power up, Goku just got a huge power up, and next thing you know, that's not good enough. Here comes Black Frieza.
Yeah, that means I
love Frieza. Frieza is a good villain. Frieza is a great villain. They need Frieza, but how are you gonna introduce new forms and then just immediately just turn around and
make a villain way stronger than them? And speaking of that, what's your thoughts on Dragon Ball Superhero?
Now, Superhero was a good movie. I don't think it was a bad movie per se, but as far as a power scaling, you introduce another villain, Cell Max, which is a cool. I mean, he's like a dinosaur, like a big Godzilla.
Yeah, I kind of liked it. I was fucking with it.
Yeah, which is fine. You can do that. You need villains, and then you get to the point where Piccolo has to. He had his potential unlocked by, the Supreme Kai, or not the Supreme Kai.
I think that was a dragon, the Shinron.
Yes, not Shinron. I forget his.
No, it was Shinron, bro.
So Shinron unlocked Piccolo's his powers, and we saw another cool form, which I don't like the name of it, but
Yeah, I feel like we're doing colors now. We're doing Frieza Black, Golden Frieza, Orange Piccolo. We're doing colors.
Yeah, we get Orange Piccolo, and then we get Giant Orange Piccolo, which it's a cool form. I'm not gonna lie, it struggles against Cell Max, but it doesn't really defeat his form.
I was kind of okay with that, because it made it seem like it made it seem like Piccolo can like do damage. What I think. Well, I'm gonna let you finish your thought. Then I'll add what I want to say to that.
So I don't think like Orange Piccolo didn't really get defeated or threw out the window. I mean, he fought, but then here comes Beast Gohan.
I like that
special, the special beam cannon and Gohan form with the Beast. Now that really put like that moment when we first saw Dragon Ball Z. That really, because I saw that at the theaters.
The transformation and all that. Yeah, my theater was crazy.
When I saw that made me get hyped for that form.
For sure.
I'm not lying. Made me feel feelings of like when I was a kid. I'm like, that's cool. And then, which is fine, we have Gohan, Beast. But the only thing I hope they don't throw this mode away, because you remember way back when Gohan was supposed to be the one.
Yeah, except he got hate mail from fans. Which, honestly, if you're a fan that sends hate mail to a creator, you are not a true fan. It's not our work. It's somebody else's dreams. It's somebody else's characters.
Yeah, we're just being picky about. We love Dragon Ball Z. The power scaling. We wish it would just get just put it back, fine tune it. Really capture those moments of like forms and all that, because we really love Dragon Ball Z. We don't hate it.
No, we're
Dragon
fans.
Ball Z till the day it stops, airing, or from the manga or whatever.
Now, I did want to also do a comparison about power scaling. I wanted to give my example about like how power scaling is done right. We already expressed how like we love Dragon Ball Z. But the power scaling makes no sense because you keep introducing a new villain every time. But I want to talk about how power scaling can be done right. And I have 3 different examples. 2 of them you can help me with. But the first example, I know you don't like Pokemon, so I'm going to take like 5 minutes to explain. Like, I know you all understand what Pokemon is, but I want to explain Pokemon's power system and like how simple it is. So, in the beginning of Pokemon, you have a fire type, water type, and a grass type. That's the usual thing. I mean, they might change it up sometimes, but that was the original 3. And they all start at level 5. So say you have a choice between Charmander, Squirtle, and Bulbasaur. If you choose Charmander obviously beats Bulbasaur easily, but he loses against Squirtle. If you choose Squirtle, he can easily beat Charmander, but struggles against Bulbasaur. If you choose Bulbasaur, he easily beats Squirtle, weak against Charizard. You get it? It's like even though they're all level 5, they have a weakness and they have an advantage. Now, that's not to say that Bulbasaur can't beat a Charmander. It might struggle a bit, but it might win. Charmander, same with Squirtle, and Squirtle, same with Bulbasaur. So, that was perfect. That's a perfect way to do power scaling. You have a weakness and you have a strength. And then getting to something like Naruto. This is something you can comment on. Naruto, for the longest time, it was just regular Naruto. He had his shadow clones. Then by the time we get to Haku, mind you, that I don't know how many episodes that was, but like I think like almost a whole arc, and he gets Kyuubi mode Naruto, and we all thought that was cool. That Naruto only had Kyuubi mode for the longest time until we get to what was like 100-something episodes in, where he fought Sasuke in the Valley of the End. When he got his, I'm talking about forms. I'm not talking about like his power. I'm talking about forms. Naruto got like one tail cloak. And Sasuke had his transform state. And that's all we had for a long time, too. And then you go through Shippuden. Naruto doesn't get another form for a long time until he's on the Tenchi Bridge Arc, or whatever.
Unless he does learn, new powers.
Oh, no. I'm talking about his forms though, like just his forms in general.
Yeah.
Four Tails Naruto.
Like
that's spread out, and then you get Sage Mode Naruto against Pain, and then towards the end we start getting multiple forms. But my point is that the forms are spread out. Same with Luffy in One Piece. Luffy starts out regular. By the time we get to NS Lobby, he learns Gear 2nd, Gear 3rd. Then Luffy doesn't even get another form until fucking way into the time skip in Dressrosa. He gets Gear 4th. And then he doesn't get another form until Wano, which is Gear 5th. Those are anime that stretched out their forms and powers well. Bleach, the other big three, Ichigo stays normal until he gets Hollow Mask Ichigo.
Yeah, it's like, if you notice in the anime, it's like when they introduce a new villain, the power that they powered up from previously defeats the villain. They don't need to power up during the fight, unlock a new form, and then defeat it. They're that power level, unless sometimes,
you keep your you keep your villains relevant. You just make a different way to take them down. Like Naruto, he does mostly only have shadow clones, but he uses shadow clones in unique ways. Ichigo only does have Getsuga Tento, and there's a reason why, but he has creative ways to take him down. Same with Luffy, he has creative ways to take him down. The villains don't always need to be it doesn't need to be a Tower of God experience where like every villain's like a multi fucking power scale above the last villain.
Or like One Punch Man, right?
Oh, that I love it.
We know it's not like a serious anime. It's more comedic than it is, like a serious anime. But One Punch Man's power scaling he's the strongest one so far.
Right.
In all of that universe. Nothing can defeat One Punch Man, which is OP, but that's the point of it.
But speaking of One Punch Man, one thing I do like, because I know a lot of people complain about it, his one gimmick is that he beats everybody with one punch. But if people remember, at the end of season 1, and this, like you said, is comedic, but at the end of season 1, he couldn't defeat the villain with one punch. He said for the first time I have to use more than one punch, and he used an attack called consecutive punches. Yes, it is a gag, it's funny, but it has more sense than Dragon Ball Z, because for the first time, One Punch Man, his gimmick doesn't work. He has to use multiple punches, and that's happened several other times. Like, because One Punch Man is so overpowered, he sometimes shows up super late to the last minute. But it works for that universe because there are times where one punch doesn't work. One punch isn't enough, and I love that. But this video is getting kind of long. We're gonna go ahead and wrap it up now. But yeah, Justin, thanks for chatting with me about Dragon Ball Z's power scaling and using these other ones as examples. I hope you guys kind of understood where we're coming from. Like I said, we love Dragon Ball Z. It's just the power scaling just seems like it's all over the place. No offense to Akira Toriyama. We love your show. We're looking forward to the new season of Dragon Ball Z. Any closing thoughts, Justin?
Yeah, that was, we should talk about the power scaling. And I really hope they don't throw Gohan Beast out the window. We really need to see Gohan step up and kind of take that throne. I mean, Vegeta and Goku already has a throne, but Vegeta deserves a throne as well, so I don't want to throw that out. I just really, really hope they can just tone down the power scaling just a little bit, because, I mean, how far are you going to go with it? You can only go to, Xeno?
Who knows, man? Who knows? I don't think they'll ever touch Xeno. If they touch Xeno, if Goku starts throwing hands casually with Xeno, I'm done. Yeah,
because, I mean, you got pretty much Goku is stronger than an angel. So after
I don't know if that's confirmed yet. I don't know if that's confirmed yet.
Grand Priest.
I don't know if that's confirmed yet.
And then after the Grand Priest is Zeno. So how far can you go with power scaling?
True that.
But anyways, it was good talking about this. There should be more,
our next video is Buggy the Clown sat on the throne of kings, the empty throne. That's our next video.
Yep. And thank y'all.
We'll tell you about that later. All right, no